Tartarus, the pit of the world, a place of shadows and whispers where even the gods tread lightly. The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of sulfur and ancient magic. In the heart of this desolate realm lay the obsidian palace, its dark towers piercing the smoke-filled sky. It was here, in this shadowed hall, that the fate of gods and mortals would be decided. The call had gone out, echoing through the celestial realms and the mortal world alike, a divine conference. Such a gathering was unheard of, a testament to the gravity of the situation. For millennia, the gods had ruled, their influence shaping the destiny of humankind. But the balance of power was shifting, and the very existence of the divine was at stake. The obsidian palace pulsed with a nervous energy. Within its cavernous hall, a massive obsidian table awaited, its surface polished to a mirror sheen that reflected the anxieties of those about to gather. Each place was marked with a sigil, a symbol of immense power belonging to the 12 who would decide the fate of all. 10 figures, colossal in their presence, occupied their designated seats. Zeus, the king of gods, his eyes crackling with celestial energy. Hera, the queen, her gaze as sharp and unyielding as a diamond. Poseidon, the earth-shaker, his trident thrumming with the fury of the seas. Hades, the king of the underworld, his shadowed face betraying nothing. Apollo, the radiant god of light, his lyre silent for once. Artemis, the huntress, her bow strung tight, her eyes scanning the room. Hephaestus, the smith, his hammer resting on the table, a silent threat. Demeter, the earth mother, her face etched with concern, her fingers tracing patterns on the table's surface. And finally Ares, the god of war, his armor gleaming, a predatory hunger in his eyes. At the head of the table, a lone chair remained unoccupied. It belonged to Athena, goddess of wisdom and war, conspicuously absent from this gathering. Her absence was a statement, a silent protest against the very purpose of this conference. For Athena, unlike some of her brethren, still believed in the old ways, in the delicate balance between gods and mortals. A hush fell over the assembly as Ares rose. His voice, when he spoke, was like the clash of steel on steel, sharp and resonant. "We grow weak," he declared, his eyes sweeping over his fellow gods. "Our influence wanes." He spoke of a growing apathy in the mortal realm, a waning belief in the divine. Mortals, he argued, had grown too independent, too reliant on their own devices. "We are forgotten," he growled, his hand tightening around the pommel of his sword. "They no longer offer sacrifices. They no longer whisper our names in prayer." Ares's words struck a chord, echoing the unease that had been brewing in the hearts of some gods. The old ways were fading, and with them, their power. "This is madness!" Poseidon boomed, his voice echoing like a tidal wave. "To abandon the mortal realm is to deny our very essence." Demeter nodded in agreement, her face etched with worry. "We are caretakers, guides. To abandon them now would be a betrayal," but their protests were drowned out by the murmurs of agreement from the others. Fear, it seemed, was a powerful motivator. The debate raged within the obsidian palace, shaking the very foundations of the world. Hera, ever the pragmatist, saw the logic in Ares's proposal, even if it left a bitter taste in her mouth. Apollo, the ever-optimistic, argued for patience, for finding a way to rekindle the faith of humankind. But it was Hades, his voice a low murmur from the shadows, who silenced the room. "We cannot force their devotion," he intoned, "but nor can we allow our power to fade entirely." His gaze, cold and calculating, settled on the empty chair at the head of the table. "Athena will not stand for this." The mention of Athena's name hung in the air, a spectre of dissent in a room slowly tilting towards surrender. She was the strategist, the protector, the one who always advocated for the balance between gods and mortals. Her opposition to this plan was as inevitable as the rising sun, and yet a seed of doubt had been sown. What if Ares was right? What if their time was truly coming to an end? A dark silence filled the hall, each deity grappling with the potential ramifications of their decision. It was Zeus, his voice booming like thunder, who finally broke the stalemate. "We will not abandon the mortal realm entirely," he declared, his eyes flashing with power. "But we will retreat. We will choose champions, holders." The concept, while radical, held a certain logic. From each corner of the cosmos, mortals would be chosen, individuals imbued with a fraction of the god's power. These holders would act as their proxies, their eyes and ears in the mortal realm, safeguarding the balance and ensuring the continued flow of belief. The selection process was rigorous, a divine lottery with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. From the war-torn plains of man to the hidden kingdoms of the Fae, from the depths of the ocean to the heights of the heavens, worthy candidates were identified. Warriors, scholars, healers, leaders, each chosen for their inherent strength, wisdom, or compassion. Section 6. Forged from the Divine. The creation of the holders was a spectacle of cosmic proportions. Within the heart of celestial furnaces, fueled by the essence of the gods themselves, weapons and artifacts were forged. These were no ordinary tools of war or trinkets of power. They were imbued with a fraction of the gods' very essence, their hopes and fears, their strengths and weaknesses. These objects, known as god auras, pulsed with raw, untamed power. Each was unique, tailored to the chosen holder and the god they would represent. A sword that blazed with the fire of Apollo's sun, a shield that rippled with the unyielding strength of Poseidon's tides, a bow that hummed with the silent swiftness of Artemis's hunt. The god Auras were more than just weapons, they were conduits, links between the divine and the mortal, designed to amplify the holder's innate abilities and grant them a taste of the god's power. But with great power, as the old saying goes, comes great responsibility. The holders would become the guardians of the balance, the protectors of both the mortal and the divine realms. Section 7. Whispers of Doubt. As the holders were chosen and equipped, a sense of uneasy anticipation settled over the obsidian palace. Even among those who had agreed to this plan, doubts lingered like shadows in the corners of their minds. Had they made the right decision? Could mortals truly be trusted with the power of the gods? Athena's absence loomed large, a silent indictment of their actions. Her wisdom, her strategic mind, was sorely missed in this time of uncertainty. Even Zeus, used to unquestioned obedience, found himself second-guessing their strategy. Whispers of dissent began to surface, fueled by the fear of the unknown. What if the holders proved unworthy? What if the power corrupted them, turned them against the very beings they were chosen to protect? The gods had taken a gamble, entrusting the fate of their world to the hands of mortals. Only time would tell if their gamble would pay off or lead to their ultimate downfall. Section 8. A Shadow Awakens. Unbeknownst to the gods, their actions had sent ripples through the fabric of existence, ripples that reached the darkest corners of the cosmos. In a realm of eternal night where even the gods feared to tread, a power stirred. An ancient evil, long dormant, sensed the shift in the celestial balance. It whispered through the void, a tendril of darkness reaching out, tasting the fear and uncertainty of the gods. For eons it had waited, biding its time, gathering its strength. Now, with the gods retreating from the mortal realm, it sensed an opportunity. The very creation of the holders, intended to maintain balance, had inadvertently created a crack in the world's defenses. The god ores, while potent, were also beacons, drawing the attention of things best left undisturbed. The stage was set, the players in place, and in the shadows, a malevolent force began to move, its eyes fixed on the mortal realm with a hunger that had been building for millennia. Section 9. The Dawn of Chaos. News of the holders spread like wildfire through the mortal realm, sparking both hope and fear. Some welcomed the chosen champions, seeing them as saviors, beacons of hope in an increasingly uncertain world. Others regarded them with suspicion, wary of the power they now wielded, the potential for corruption ever present. But in the celestial realms, a sense of foreboding prevailed. The gods watched as their champions took up their mantles, their hearts heavy with a premonition of the chaos to come. The balance had shifted, and the consequences of their actions remained to be seen. The divine conference had concluded, but the true test had just begun. As the first rays of dawn pierced the darkness, heralding a new era, the fate of gods and mortals hung precariously in the balance. The battle lines were drawn, the stage set for a conflict that would determine the destiny of all creation. And in the heart of it all, the holders stood caught between the might of the gods and the encroaching darkness, their choices shaping the future of the world.